God began to question me this week and say, do you still believe? I said, God, you know I believe. He said, no. Do you believe in my miraculous power? Do you believe that I'm still able to spiritually provide? He began to take my mind back and said, we got to the place now that, and even James, the Bible says in the book of James, if you believe, you do well. But even the demons believe. But you've got to take your faith and your belief to another level. I was thinking this week, and my mind went back to the early 90s when we had a body of people that would believe God for anything. They believed in God's intervention. They believed in God's manifestation. And anytime you have that unwavering faith, you give God access to do anything. And so even back then, we had people were just believing that God would move, and then God's angels would show up in the sanctuary. It would be nothing to be having service and someone would say, I just seen an angel move right there. I just seen an angel move right there. And folk would get healed and blessed, and you would have people from far off say, I don't know why I came, but I just had to come here, leaving from out of town, and will come in this sanctuary and have a word from the Lord. Look at somebody, you said, and tell them you got to start back believing on his power. Not just believing on his existence, but believe on his power. See, we don't believe that God can move supernaturally anymore. We just believe God just for a car. We just believe in God for a house. But how many believe God that he can move in ways unimagined, move in ways that uncalculated, move miracles? People have been set free. It was so powerful that there was miracles occurring all the time. They've been going to hospitals and say, turn here, and turn their laying hands, walking away, then the man died. But miracles on left and miracles on the right, because folk believed in the power of God. Believing on the power of God. I remember coming in church. I had to go pick up someone that wasn't ready the first time. I went to get him right after Sunday school. So I went to Bishop and said, let me hold your keys for a minute. He had the keys to his sort of a champagne-colored Cadillac, and he gave me the keys to it, and I got the keys, and I went to go pick the individual up and brought him to church. And when I came back, walked in church, I went to the back, and I went to pull for my keys, and no keys. No keys. And I'm looking, just had the keys in my pocket. Where's the keys? And so I stayed back there for 30 minutes because it was really messing with me, because God was doing a lot of stuff in that season. God was doing a lot of stuff in that season, because prior to that, a couple of days prior to that, I just flipped my car over on 1541 bypass, and an angel showed up and put her arms around me and said, God showed you he was already with you, and that he's going to be with you your whole life. But before that even happened, a light flashed in the corner of the room and said, go by yourself. And when I went and rode by myself, my car flipped, and the only side got messed up was the passenger side. So here my car is laying down in the embankment, and I'm trying to open it up from the top, because first thing hit my mind, usually those car flips, they blow up. So I'm trying to get out, and when I get out the car and I'm sitting up there looking down in the embankment, everybody, the ambulance comes up, and the fire truck comes up, and everybody looks, oh, he must be messed up down there. And the only thing I'm looking at is like, man, I just got this car. Because I was using that car to go back and forth to Allen University, and I'm sitting there looking at it. And by this time, an old white lady came and put her arms around me. And when she put her arms around me, she said, son, it's okay. And I said, yes, ma'am. And she was holding me like she was my grandma. She said, son, it's okay. Even before you came, God was showing you he was already with you. And I'm sitting up there, and I'm hearing her, but I'm looking at the car, and I'm thinking, well, Bishop gonna think I'm so irresponsible because I just got this car and flipped it. And so while she was hugging me and said, God is showing you that he was already with you, and I forgot about the light that flashed in the room. You see, by that time, the police came and they said, we need a report. Who all seen the accident She had her arm around him. She raised her hand. And so after they questioned 2 or 3 people, they looked for her. She vanished. Everybody looked around. Have you seen her? Have you seen her? Have you seen her? Everybody was like, no, she was just standing right here. And then it came to me what she said. Before you came here, God was showing you he was already with you. But we had a group of people, watch this, believing in the power of God. Nobody doing anything to be seen or heard, but believing in the provision of power of God. And I began to take my mind, he took my mind back to that season. He said, notice this, that the church and the power and the people had great influence because everybody was believing in the power of God. It was so powerful, watch this, that teachers was asking Bishop to come to the school to talk about God in the classroom. I remember Bishop going, he took some corn seed and he stood before class and he talked about potential. But it was showing us something. But when we're believing in the power of God, you allow the manifestation of the power of God to take place. Because the Bible says the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man, watch this, availeth much. That means it makes more power available in the earth. Folk getting on their knees asking God to change me so your power would be ready on my life. Y'all ain't hearing me. Asking God to change me so the power be available on my life. Even if you're coming to men's prayer or women's prayer, if you getting out praying and still get up back mean, you need to go back down and ask God to change you so the power of God. Paul said, I endure all things, watch this, that the power of God may rest on me. I want the power of God to rest on me. I just don't want to do good when I'm in the pulpit. I want the power of God to rest on me. I want the power to hold back things and release things. I want the power of God to rest. Folk were getting delivered. Folk getting set free. It was nothing on a Friday night, or rather it was a Sunday morning, for somebody to come to church drunk and before the service of the Lord they would be sober, giving God the praise. I remember one Friday night a lady was at the altar getting prayed for. She was blind. Amen. The man of God laid hands on her. We had a guest speaker that laid hands on her, and she began to jump up and say, I can see. I can see. I can see. And the church went up in an uproar. That's what happens when you have a group of people that believe on the power. Look at your neighbor and tell him, say, stop playing with this thing. You worrying about little petty issues. You need to stop playing with this thing. It's time to focus on the power of God. Power of God. I remember a brother, and Jason, you remember this. I remember a brother came up here and he began to convulse, and he turned around and picked up a whole pew. He was picking up a whole pew with one hand, and we saw preachers hitting the door trying to get out. Amen. But we had a bunch of young people that came and grabbed them, and the men and women of God began to lay hands in the name of Jesus. And one of the major reasons we got so much uproar going on in our nation, because we ain't got the power to cast out a demon no more. Folk ain't calling on God no more. Just happy with a good service and a good format, and ain't nobody trying to get on with no power. God said, but if my people that are called by my name would humble themselves and pray, watch this, humble themselves and pray, not just pray, but humble themselves and pray, and watch this, seek my face, don't seek a position, seek my face, don't seek a title, seek my face, there I'll hear there from heaven, I'll forgive their sins, and then I'll heal the land.